Okay, I'd like to call the December 5th, 2024 Wall City Council meeting to order. Would you please call roll, Carolyn?
Hoffman.
Here.
Morgan.
Here.
Stan Anderson.
Here.
Stick.
Here.
Williams.
Here.
Hoff.
Here.
Mike Anderson.
Here.
We're all present.
Right, let us stand and say the flag. Deputy Parks, would you lead?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Do we have any order of business for emergencies?
No,
And do we have attendance on Zoom?
Councilman Stan Anderson's on Zoom.
Okay. With that, that brings us to item 6, and I would ask Sergeant Larson to come to the podium and give his police report.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening. Okay, so total city hours for last month was 503. 16 of those hours were from deputies coming from Rapid City, which is a good number. It's low. So a similar number in New Underwood when I was there night before last. With the assistance of Deputy Porch, we're able to get those numbers back up. Had quite a few sick hours. A couple of us fell ill. Gout is not a pretty thing. I was the victim. Those of you who suffered from that, it's no fun. Community activity, we had 64 events or community policing engaging with the public. 50 traffic stops for the month, which is pretty high for the amount of people that were here. We're still getting some people traveling through. We had quite a few traffic stops today. People from Texas. I think they can go as fast as they want. Nice. Frustrating. You're all aware of the Jackson County Sheriff and his accident earlier. That was pretty significant. He's fine. He's fine with that. In a good way, though, we were able to put faces on the names of the Jackson County deputies when we assisted them with that in Jackson County, which came into play the other night. I need to address all the chatter that's been going on about our significant event that we had out in the vicinity of Quinn. I was on that call. Understand there's no threat to the community. I deal with several phone calls today, and I've talked to several people face to face when I was downtown wandering around. Everybody has questions. The rumor mill spins up. Rest assured, if there is a direct threat to the community, everybody's going to be out here like we were the other night. The initial call came in as a disturbance in progress. It escalated from there. On our way out, it started to get more convoluted to the point where I decided to start calling in some other agencies. Jackson County was listening, and I accepted their help along with Badlands units. I think they were bored anyway. Nonetheless, when we got on scene, it boiled. If it was just me being out there by myself, I could have handled it by myself. There was a subject involved that he's a wanted subject, but he's not a threat to the community. I don't know if he's going to be coming back out here anytime soon, because we spent a lot of time looking for this subject who was not on foot. I keep hearing that he was not on foot. He was in a stolen vehicle and he left the area before we got there. There's alcohol involved in this. And so based on the information that dispatch is getting from the reporting party, that GISAC then give us the information that they think we need or want. So based on what we're getting from them, that's why the caliber came out. So I used an exorbitant amount of resources based off that information. It turned out to be a disturbance involving alcohol and a stolen vehicle. no arrests were made. A lot of attempted conversations, which is kind of hard when there's alcohol involved, try to get any kind of straight information. We're still being worked on, is something that we're going to look into, and continue to keep an eye on. But as far as the threat to the community, a couple phone calls from Quinn that I had to address because they were scared, and I understand that because it doesn't happen out here very often. Especially in Quinn with that kind of a response. There's absolutely nothing to worry about. Like I said, if there was, you would know about it. We would make sure of that. So please understand that. We even use drones, trying to get to the bottom of it with Jackson County, so. Other than that, are there any questions, comments, concerns?
So there was no chase through fields or anything? That's one I heard.
Somebody drove through a field and it wasn't us. We surrounded the field where we believe, well, we were told that individual may be in a vehicle, and there is no sign of any vehicle. We had thermals on the drone, which did not pick up any heat signatures that we could address. I was pretty frustrated after the fact. But you have to go on what you know. And once you get out there, not all the time, but most of the time, it is a situation that's blown out of proportion from the reporting party, and we have to act on worst case scenario. So that was the reason for the large presence.
That's probably the way you need to react all the
We have
time
to.
anyway, isn't it?
We have to.
Anymore, you never know.
Yeah, and that's, you know, being, especially most of my time being right outside in the Rapid City area, that's, if you don't, you're setting yourself up for failure. So, and that's just how we're going to react here. If we think it's that bad, or the information we're getting, we're gonna take the worst case scenario, so. Any other questions?
I understand that you're working closely with the school too. That Deputy Porches is helping out there at activities and
Sure,
events and working with kids, and
yep,
so that's a good thing.
it is. It's good for the kids to see us around, that we're not just running them down to give them a hard time. That's not the way it works. That's the way I grew up in Sioux Falls, so we didn't want anything to do with the police, so.
You know,
Our interactions were. But yes, that we have a stronger presence in the school, and Deputy Porch has done an excellent job with that. And he looks like a senior in high school.
you know why kids are scared.
Like that.
Because every time you pick us up and the kids are in the car, we all freak out. Oh, geez, oh.
And Prairie Village, you're still doing some walkthroughs there?
We do walkthroughs pretty regular, but it's been quiet there.
Yeah.
I haven't had a lot of run-ins or issues, phone call, calls for service there. Most of the time I'm going in there is for, civil paperwork. And we give the folks a hard time about puzzles, ask them why they haven't got it finished yet.
Keep them on their toes.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
fun. It's fun.
That's good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Keep up the good work and be safe.
Thank you, man.
Okay, so then that brings us, may I have a motion to adopt the agenda?
So move.
Zach's moved
Second.
and Jerry seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Does anyone have a need for a conflict of interest declaration? Hearing none, would I have a motion to approve the minutes of the last meeting?
So moved.
Okay, Dan has moved
Second.
and Mike seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. In front of you or in your packet was the city bills. As of December 5th. City amount is $69,907.18. Fire department total, $7,340. Library, $615.59. And cemetery is $197.52. Any questions or concerns about any one of those claims at this point for Carolyn? May I have a motion to approve the claims?
I would interject at this time, sorry, to add, I just realized I forgot to add the interest on the loan that we had at the First Interstate Bank for $7,536.99. I did not get that added under the city bill, and I would like to include that now.
Okay,
I'll amend that bill for that.
so with that addition to the city bill amount then, do I have a motion to approve the claims?
So move.
Rick has moved,
Second.
and Dan seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oh, same sign, motion carries. All right, also for your review is the on-call schedule, employee overtime and the sick and vacation for our city employees. The golf course, financial. Seems to be a stable amount there. Water usage report. Sales tax report.
And just to draw your attention that in your packet tonight, there is an additional deposit of sales tax compared to the first that you got sent out on Tuesday.
Because you just
Yeah,
got
received
an amount and you added that up, added that in. However,
Received all of November's sales tax from them, so.
so to date, this includes all of November then, right? It appears that our sales tax is down 101,000 compared to last year. At this same point, but yet, if you look at BBB, it's up 11,000.
And for, this month, the same as last year, we're up 19,000 from the sales tax. Even though it's overall, we're down, but we're up for the month.
Yeah, it's been fluctuating strangely throughout the year.
Okay. And then also included in the packet is the budget report, the expense budget to date. So any questions or thoughts on any one of those particular reports tonight? Okay, hearing or seeing none, do we have anyone from the public who would like to make comments? That does not appear to be the case tonight. That'll move us right along to Roshan, Wall Economic Development Director.
Good evening, everybody. I did add a point, Kate, sorry. Okay, so I met with the Rushmore Alliance Board, and I joined this committee to put together geographical information system maps. They're interactive maps for site selectors for IP Park. It's more in-depth information that site selectors are looking for, like where utilities are and how they run in, and topographical maps and stuff like that, so that they can make assessments on sites from afar before coming to visit us. So we're getting those together, and we've met once, and we're gonna get together and do an overview one for the area, for the region, for the Black Hills, and including Wall, and then each town will and I've been talking to my board about this, look at, maps that we want specifically for our area, which we will have to pay for separately, out of that, so, we'll see what we want and what we wanna add into that, so that our site pops out and site selectors get all the information they want, and we see more attractive. At that meeting, we got a state legislative, update. There's a couple of tax proposals on the table. They're looking at doing one called CAPS, which allows voters to approve a 1 cent sales tax to pay for community projects. And this is for bigger projects, and then that goes away when the project's paid for. So that's something that cities and municipalities can look at for financing things coming up if they want. Also, the municipal sales tax credit where you're borrowing against future taxes to pay for a project now. That project has to be, the taxes have to be collected from within where that project is gonna happen. So if we put something in Wall, taxes are collected from Wall, like to build a road or something like that. So those are on the table at the state legislature, and we'll see where that goes. I'll keep you posted. I did submit a request for information, for a project called Extra Mile. It's a trucking company that's looking for 2 to 3 acres for a trucking yard, so they can put 10 to 15 trucks on it. I have not heard back on that, so I will keep you posted on that one as well. I went to Dakota Resources Housing Summit in Deadwood a couple weeks ago. The one thing I came away with there that I did not realize is AARP. They had a rep there from the federal government that for the 55+ community, that there are grants and loans available under AARP. So that's something I'm looking into. One of the things they're pushing for our 55+ crowd is folks that have a house that they can't really take care of and it's too big for them, but they don't want to leave their property and they don't want to leave their towns, is their grants and loans for them to build like mother-in-law cottages. They call them ADUs. And for some reason that is not coming in my head what that means. Anyhow, but they're the small cabins, so they can build that, move into that, stay on their property, and then rent out their house, or sell their house, and they would still be able to stay in the community. And one of the things we came away from that was changing our mindset on housing and looking at housing as more of a just enough housing and not too much housing. So downsizing and not making these McMansions anymore, and building just enough for what you need. So, and more accessible housing that have 0 grades going into them for wheelchairs, and not just wheelchairs, but like baby carriages and stuff like that, because going up steps and stuff like that with kids, wheelchairs, strollers can be a problem. So that was what we pulled away from that. We had our annual meeting a couple weeks ago on the 20th. Colonel Kegger came and talked to us about the basics of the base expansion, and that what I did not know, this base will be the training base for the B-21 bomber. So all those crews will come here from the other bases to learn how to use those planes and stuff. So that is a good thing for us. He talked about currently they'll be bringing in about 7,400 people, and then increasing another 7,000 people over the next several years. So there's a lot of people coming in, bringing in an economic impact of almost $800 million annually for the area. So we're going to try to grab some of that, maybe get some of those people to move out here and live out here as well. So that will be good for everybody. I attended a round table with Senator Thune in Rapid, and he just kind of opened it up for questions, but he did make a few comments beforehand. One thing is the federal government is looking at, not looking at, they already have, they're going to increase the number of H1 and J1 visas that will be available for the states. So they realize that that is a good program. They're also looking at moving some of the departments out of DC and into the states, because they said only like 6% of the people are coming back into the office. They're still working from home. So there's no real need for them to be in DC particularly, so I want to put our bid in for, Department of Ag. Dream big, I say. And they're looking at more, low income tax breaks and credits at the federal level and developers. Some good things coming out of there. He did say that things will be a little slow, because when they get into office in January, they're gonna have to, approve Trump's, people and that kind of stuff. And they have like 2,000 people that they have to do, so it could be a little while before they can get on track with funding and getting all the funds that have been promised out to us. So we have to be patient for that kind of stuff. The Housing Authority Board has been set up and is up and running, and we have one first developer working on an application with the Black Hills Area Community Foundation to see if we can't get some funding for that, for some of the housing here that we're gonna build in Wall. All right, I'm looking into grants for road safety. I'm launching a webinar tomorrow on that called Zero to Roads. So for like bike paths, safety features for roads and stuff to make things safer for vehicles as well as pedestrians and that kind of stuff. So I'm gonna look into that and see if there's something in there that we could do, maybe help with our bike path or our kids getting to school and stuff like that too. I will keep you posted on that one as well. This is what I added. And very soon here, probably in January, once we get through the holidays, because I don't think now is the time to do that, but I'm gonna be coming out in the community and meeting with business members and starting doing business retention and expansion meetings, see what the business community needs, and also some of the community members as well, so that we can get back on track and help build this community. I'm also looking at setting up some mixers, coffee connections for next year, which will bring in professionals like accountants and that to come in and do small presentations for the community, both business and the community members. So if anybody is interested in hosting and or presenting at one of them, let me know. I don't know how often they'll be, maybe once a quarter, maybe once a month. I have not quite figured that all out and getting that into that. So, still out there researching and looking for grants and developments and people to move into our IT park. Also did not put this, the one lot we did renew, his contract till June. We had to push really hard for him to keep that for the construction condominiums. But if we don't get somebody in there by June, he will probably not renew June again. So I'm gonna push really hard to try to get at least one person to buy and or lease a space from him so he can break ground and we can get something built out there. So that is what I have. Anybody have any thoughts, questions, or comments for me?
But the truck yard that you mentioned, and they're looking for 2 or 3 acres, is that something we could put out in the IP?
Yep. That's what we're looking for. And they're not looking for much more, just fencing around there and some lighting and stuff like that. So sort of a transition place for them, for their trucks. And we're at a perfect location for that, being right off the I-90 to 14 now. So, like I said, I've not heard back from them, but we did submit that. So fingers crossed. All right, I have a few other fingers in the pots for other things, but I will keep you posted as things develop on that kind of stuff. So, all right. All right, if that's it then.
Okay, very good.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, item 14, we need to approve our January 2025 meeting dates. We talked about this at the last meeting, with the first Thursday being very early in the month. We talked about doing January 9th and January 27th. Is that still gonna work for everyone? What's the matter, Mike?
Should work.
Okay. Would I have a motion then to approve, alternate meeting dates for January then?
Dan, you good?
Yeah, as far as I know.
Awesome. Second.
Who made the motion, sorry?
Jerry moved and Rick seconded that our meetings in January will be January 9th and January 27th. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, Carolyn, would you like to I'll give your report regarding finance office.
Yes, so we did get the Reed loan, and that was for the 2 million. That came through, it hit the bank this week, I believe, on Monday or Tuesday. And so I did go over to the bank and transferred money to pay off that construction loan that we had at the bank. So the principal that got paid off with the $2 million was $991,706.83. And then, like I said earlier, I'll write that check for $7,536.99 for the interest. I wanted it separated like that because the auditors like to see how much interest we are paying. So for tracking purposes, I want to keep that separate. So we will, I believe the payment on this loan will start in January, and that will be a monthly payment that you'll see on the bill list for paying back. that.
Carolyn, just out of curiosity, how much is that payment? Do we know yet?
I do not know for sure, no.
And what are the terms? How many years? 20, wow. Percent?
5.37.
Yep.
Well, it's really good this day and age.
So that was exciting to have that finally taken care of. And then wanted to mention that next week I will be attending the South Dakota Municipal League Board meeting that we always have in December. That will be the first meeting I will be conducting as president. And then that evening, we have a joint meeting with the county that we just try to work together on some things towards legislation of we can maybe get things happening for both sides of it and stuff. So that will be December 11th and coming back on the 12th. And then next meeting, of course, will on the 19th will be the last meeting of the year. So I will be reaching out and just wanted to kind of give you guys a heads up. Probably on that Tuesday when I send the packet, I'll want you to let me know if you will be attending that last meeting because I will be preparing your payroll checks for you then. And so I want to know to get you paid out for that. And that's basically all I had today.
Any questions?
Yes, Carolyn, is your meeting a 2-day meeting? Are you gone the 11th and the 12th?
I'm gone the 11th. I'm going down early on the 11th to sit down with Sarah, our executive director, so we can just kind of go over some things. And so I know what I need to be thinking about, and then traveling back on the 12th because the joint meeting that we have with the county is kind of an evening and a supper. And so they provide
Perfect.
lodging for us.
Any other questions? Okay. Kira, do you have any report on Public Works?
We've been really busy spreading the Christmas joy and lights up everywhere.
Sounds so excited.
No, it's not bad. No, just been busy with all that and quite a few car wrecks and spent the day in Phillip yesterday helping them out, so that went very, very well for the situation, so. Yeah.
How many fire departments did they end up
So
having there?
I think it was Kadoka Wall, Phillip, Midland was there, Whispering Pines was there, Doty, there was a lot of people there, so it was good.
And there were 150 firefighters.
Yeah. Yeah, my job was protecting Hanson Oil, so I just sprayed water on top of this building all the time. Got flood insurance, Brian? A lot of, but no, it went,
The wind was the opposite direction, was it not? The smoke looked like it was going the other.
it was blowing from the north, but yeah, once, it was pretty interesting to watch.
You don't
How's
remember
the-
the one? Oh,
I don't, that's maybe like 3 or 2.
So it didn't do any damage to the bigger bins?
Nope, no, it was far enough away from everything, you know, like Hanson's Oil was the closest, you know, it was just across the street, and then Dakota Mill had a newer building behind it, and yeah, and everything just fell right inside, and we thought maybe it'd tip over one way or the other, but it just went really good.
We figured out at the pancake supper, I was working with Mary on this. The wall elevator burned down in 1975. 3 people verified that.
Okay, so I was -1 then.
Which is-
I thought it was 79 or something. Anyways, yeah.
My dad had the Standard Oil bulk then, and they let me actually hold the fire hose to keep his tanks cool on that.
When that went down.
Oh, yeah, the bulk plant was right there, wasn't it?
How old were you, Jerry?
Pardon?
Were you pretty little?
Was I young?
Yeah.
No.
Oh,
Mm.
okay, sorry.
I'm 70 years old.
No, oh, I did, okay.
I was in high school.
You remember it?
But lots of good, you know, everybody from the community came out, and there's food everywhere, like, where you look, and old guys running around with coffee thermoses and bringing you coffee, and so, no, it was really good.
Garrett, once those start, there's really no stopping it.
No, and Jerry might know more, I don't know a whole lot, but it was like the upper section of one of them, and it wasn't really like actively burning, like flames and smoke coming out, but the bottom boards of the bottom of there were, you could see it was charred and red, and there's just.
If you guys wouldn't have helped it, it'd burn for a week.
Right, yeah, we could have been sitting around waiting forever.
With that long?
And them boards are only that thick, and they're just stacked, they're just.
What did they build them out of? 2x4s, 2x6s?
2x6, it's just like
Stacked.
2x6 stacked.
Wow, that's intense.
Yeah, no, and you could see like it burn, and then all the grain would come out of one of them, and that distiller's grain was pretty interesting to watch when it came down, because it just exploded.
Never did figure out why they put bulk plants right next to grain elevators. In the old days.
No popcorn?
No popcorn. That came down to help out, and he got there, and of course, all the guys around was like, Dad, where are the marshmallows? I told these guys to buy marshmallows. You know you didn't.
Okay, what about Second Avenue?
Still waiting for Todd
Okay,
on that. He's pretty busy, and everything seems to be holding good up there, so.
okay.
And you just got a cat.
Yep, it's just cat now, and then they plan on, when they redid the sewer, I can't remember what year that was, but there's an 8-inch plug there that we can connect onto with the PVC and go on. The plan is just maybe dead end that there until we can go under Creighton Road at a later point, because it'll have to be bored, or we'll have to tear up the road to connect on that side.
Okay, anything else or any other questions? Okay. For my report, Roshana and I attended the Elevate Critical Issues Luncheon today, which was on the state of the county and state of the city. So Commissioner Gary Drews spoke and explained that commissioners or the county is funded only by property tax, and that the growth of the county is significant because in 1 year, Pennington County has been growing for the last 2 or 3 years, more than the total population of 47 other South Dakota counties. That's how much Pennington County is expanding. Another thing that he brought forward was that they are going to be relocating most of the administrative offices out to a site on Concourse. And his presentation was followed by Sheriff Brian Mueller, because the reason that they are relocating is because the jail, according to Sheriff Mueller, is about 1 water main break, that sounded familiar, from failing, the infrastructure in that jail. And if that happens, they are, saying that they would have to relocate over 200 prisoners out and about the state. So they are trying to they're moving forward. I think the total amount might be 182 million is the total cost of that jail. They've got some of those dollars, but they are gonna have to go to bond. And he's asking that we consider that, and we be supportive of that situation because, it's needed. And he wants our community to be safe, and he doesn't wanna ever put our deputies into the position where they don't, arrest someone because there isn't room at the jail. So I didn't mention that we do have one cell here in Wall. I didn't bring that up at all. I thought I'd pass on that. So anyway, that was, the presentation that Sheriff Mueller gave. The mayor of Rapid City also spoke, and he talked about some of his main, concerns, which number one is public safety. And he commented that actually public safety starts at home, and that kids as well as communities need structure. And kids need a mom and dad at home. And so he has some very good comments about that. He also referred to the fact that Rapid City's got a very strong economy. Weekly wages are up to be $1,000 a week, plus. Unemployment is at 2.8%, labor participation is 67%. And he indicated that they have lots of good paying jobs in Rapid City. He's also talked about making generational investments. One of them that he commented about was investing in sports complexes because those attract events to the city and causes economic growth. Also, they're growing and improving their airport also, trying to expand that. And presently, they've done it to the point where now they also have to add on to their parking. So I thought those comments were very good to think about and to hear about in terms of what's going on in our county and in our neighboring city. He also indicated that Rapid City was recognized as being a high-performing city, and that's based on government efficiencies, and he also said it was because they have a great team. And when we talked, and when he mentioned about a great team, that made me think about our great team that we have here in Wall. Katie, I want to commend you on your marvelous 2 events recent, which was Parade of Lights and then the pancake supper went so well. I love what Ashton has done for our community center here and decorating that for Christmas. It's just so fun to walk in here. And then the Public Works and Kelly have been very busy on the streets and the trees. And I think it just looks wonderful for this time of year. So I commend our team too, that we have here at Wall that works together, tries to do things very efficiently, always concerned about costs of doing things. And so that keeps us in line with our budgets. So I just appreciate that. With that being said, is there any other items for discussion tonight? No, just no action would be taken, but does anyone have anything they wanted to bring up?
I wanted to thank Rick for letting us borrow his genie lift, so we weren't doing stuff kind of sketchy, hanging Christmas lights. It's a little safer. And thank you.
I was glad you asked. I saw what's the,
Our little sizzle lift, yeah.
yeah,
It's
the genie's really handy.
Yes, it
It's
is.
very stable.
Thank you for doing that. I didn't know that.
Mary, I got probably a weird question for you or Rochelle. They keep talking about all the people coming to Ellsworth, but aren't all the other bombers leaving? Aren't? the bomb-
Temporarily,
Pardon?
temporarily, they're gonna leave temporarily, so that they can expand the runway. The runway is good for 50 years, he said, and they're at 40, and they figure this is a good time to upgrade that before they bring in their bombers. So they're gonna move them up to North Dakota, for a few months, fix that runway, and then bring them back.
Well, I was wondering if what was gonna happen with them, they're keeping them.
Yep.
Which is good,
Yeah.
it should shut down the discussion of them trying to close it in the very near future. Hopefully.
Yeah, it's here to stay, and hopefully the legislature is gonna step up and help a little bit with that project. That's huge to our state. And, they tried to get some dollars, get them to work with some dollars, and they weren't, quite on task last year, but the legislators from this area are gonna work on that a lot harder again, so.
For these two guys out there. I've been running back and forth to Rapid every morning and coming back every night. Holy smoly. At 65 miles an hour when you hit Ellsworth, I think 65, you get pushed off the highway.
Yeah, highway patrol's been pretty busy in that area.
Okay, so our next city council meeting will be at 6:30 on December 19th.
I interjected December 19th.
Okay,
Stan brought that to my attention and I did not put the date in there.
good job, Stan, good job catching that. Okay, we do have a need for executive session this evening.
I make a motion to go into executive session for the purpose of discussing legal personnel issues according to SDL 1-25-2. Parentheses, any number,
What?
1.
Okay, so Zach has moved, is there a second?
Rick, moved, I second.
Sorry, okay, we got it. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for being here tonight. We appreciate that. You have a great rest of the evening. Thank you, Sean.